Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. You and me, well, we're together again at last, and I love this part. Thursday, July 7th, 2022. Well, I don't know. Where do you want to start today? If you were to turn on any of the financial channels, it's pretty much everywhere. You got this issue with Boris Johnson and pretty much nothing else. Don't you love when they do that? I'll tell you, when they take a story like this and it's all they talk about, you have to realize that it's a cover for something else. And that's just the way it plays out pretty much all the time without exception. With that said, let us move forward here. So I think a lot of this kind of look here, don't look over here. And we're going to see more of this moving forward, is the fact that you see the puppet governments around the world. I think they're being exposed for what they are, and that is puppet governments. And the puppet masters here remain central banks. Now, a lot of you, and I'm looking at through my emails this morning, are talking about the yield curve, the yield curve, the yield curve. Yes, people. The yield curve is inverted. It's been in and out of inversion as of late quite a lot. But so freaking what? Do we really need yet another tell that the economy frankly sucks? I don't think so. It's like, honestly, I don't understand it. Oh, look at the yield curve. Yeah, I am looking at the yield curve, people, and so are you. But so what? Is this a shock to anyone that things are really not so good, despite the dog shit, bullshit, cat shit that we've been hearing for the longest time out of puppet government leaders who don't matter at all? No. In the Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, we know what's going on. Again, what are they doing? They're trying to convince us that what we're seeing with our own eyes is not real. You know that. Even the news itself. Oh, we're going to tell you a lovely story right now. Oh, yeah, but wait till tomorrow or the next day. We're going to tell you something totally different because we were telling you the truth, but now that was a lie. But the new truth is this. But this is going to be a lie, too, in just a couple of days. So anyway, look, with regard to the yield curve, I know a lot of you are like hyper concerned about it. Forget about it. It shouldn't be a shock to anyone. It's over. This economy has been done for years, okay? The people believe, or have been led to believe, that the overstimulating of the economy via every mechanism you can dream about and things you can't even imagine via central banks around the world here, just giving the illusion of some kind of prosperity, rah, stock market, record high. It's all bullshit. It's all been stimulus. It's been easy money here. And right now, look, the biggest story that's not being told right now is the fact that there is quantitative easing on steroids going on. Central banks, ECB, Federal Reserve getting in here and buying it all. Are you watching the 10-year yield? It's continuing to rise. This morning, 2.95 on the 10-year yield. Look, in this current environment, and I've covered this before, with regard to what the Federal Reserve is doing, with regard to the federal funds rate, and pretty much everything else that's going on, a normal spot for the 10-year yield is going to be about 3.2-ish, okay? If we start moving above that at a rapid pace, we're going to see the same thing we witnessed recently, a rapid sell-off again in the 10-year yield, and that's going to lead to the stock market getting hit pretty freaking hard. And then what's that going to do? That's going to force the European Central Bank to, again, this would be the third time, expand on its emergency monetary policy to stabilize the debt market. And the Federal Reserve must follow suit. But what does this mean? More inflation. So let's talk about some of the news we got this morning. So initial jobless claims for last week. Oh, it's so unexpected. No one saw this coming. Yeah, it came in higher than expected. Not much, but higher nonetheless here. And yes, and the new story is, again, look what they're doing. Remember, inflation was transitory. Inflation was peaking according to the Federal Reserve's own numbers. Now we find out that We're nowhere near peaking, and that's the new story. Oh, inflation hasn't peaked yet. Inflation hasn't peaked yet. Yeah, this showed up on the cover of the Wall Street Journal just yesterday. And now you got the propaganda ministries. Oh, we're sorry, but it hasn't peaked. I mean, make it up. Make any of this up. I dare you to do it. Anyway, so what we have here again, 10-year yield rising. It's not the matter of really where the 10-year yield is. It's the pace at how we get there. You understand? I think you do. I've covered this a gazillion times. But it is an eye-opening experience when you see the 10-year yield move up 14 basis points in one day. I mean, to say the least, that this volatility in the debt market, and especially the 10-year yield, whole yield curve being twisted, okay, is kind of eye-opening, absolutely. And we're going to keep our eyes on that. Now, let's take a gander over the dollar. This morning, the comparative strength of the dollar, relative strength of the dollar, is slightly in the red. But my take on this, again, people, is we're going to see more relative dollar strength as, the dollar still appears to be the prettiest belle at the ball. In a global environment of, look, it's been a race to the bottom with regard to central banks pressuring their currency for years, absolutely for years. And what we're seeing now is, again, just that knee-jerk, safe haven kind of movement as the world continues to fall deeper into a global economic depression. Forget about recession. This is a global economic depression, and I think we are all well aware of that. And I love how the mainstream media kind of is painting this. Oh, if we fall into recession, then this is going to happen. And if we fall into recession, then that's going to happen too. If. You can't make that up either. We are clearly beyond the recession, but they can't let you know that. You must be, mind screwed in every which way possible. And that's what they're doing here. They're keeping people in a state of not understanding what's going on by design, and with distractions and deflections and propaganda and everything else. Anyway, so we got stock trading starting in about 31 minutes. Stock futures are higher, despite the fact this whole bullshit crap with Boris Johnson. Guy needs a new hairdo, if you ask me. But that's a whole other thing. Anyway, stock futures higher. 10-year yield moving higher. Keep our eyes on that. Dollar slightly lower this morning. Bitcoin still stuck at the same spot it's been in pretty much for a while, around 20 grand. Gold and silver catching slight bid this morning, and crude oil, just WTI, West Texas Intermediate, just about $100 a barrel here. Let me say this too. We heard from Citigroup a couple days back. If, are you ready for this one? If we fall into recession, crude could go to $60, $65 a barrel. If that does happen, what do you believe you would see as a result? Yes, exactly. I know it just went into your mind. How about some kind of false flag bombing, expansion of war, something with Russia, Ukraine? I have no idea, but they're going to pull off a false flag to prop up crude. Crude oil, people, I'm going to tell you again, is the lifeblood of this market. It's the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex. Investment banks leveraged beyond their eyeballs here, and they fund it all anyway. So, but I think this is all pretty much common knowledge. So, let us take this whole lovely morning here and kind of put it together. We got a market, at least for now, futures higher. 10-year yield, keep your eyes on that. Relative dollar strength, keep your eyes on that too. And let's see what else they pull off. We've had 2 consecutive days in this market that have been more or less miraculous, especially 2 days ago, where we had a market that was getting decimated across the board and a miraculous turnaround. But, the Fed doesn't buy stocks. They don't buy the market. They buy everything else, but remember, they don't buy the market because the stock market, because they say they don't. And obviously, you know, everything they say is true. Anyway, we got a good handle on what's happening, people, and we're going to keep our eyes on the ball, and we're just going to sit back and we're gonna enjoy the ride and see where this whole freak show plays out, because that's what it is. It's an epic freak show. It's nothing like it. It's the most entertaining thing, I believe, in the history of the world. All right, look, this guy here loves you a lot. I mean that. Please comment. I know the issues with the comments, people. You keep writing to me about it. I know they're not showing up right away. I have nothing to do with this. Apparently people are telling me they write, doesn't show up for days, sometimes at all. I don't know what to tell you. Change the wording around it, maybe in the statements, and maybe they'll come out. This is some kind of algorithm thing that YouTube has, and they are clearly utilizing that to not let people be heard. It's all part of the same thing people control. And we haven't seen anything yet. Love you a lot. Please get it out there, this video out there. See you later.